We are leaving goods factory in town on this very early morning. Almost 400 ton of steel pipe behind us. Hopefully we don't run out of water or coal. Quick, got a shovel. Oh, this expert shovel is killing my back right now. This really is the morning train to Struggletown. Just rolling back down the hill here, going in the wrong direction. Oh, check out all those sparks. I really don't think we're gonna make it this time. We're gonna stall. Well, that's it. That's our worst nightmare realized. No more water. And gone. We are officially a fireless locomotive with no water right now. At the mercy of gravity. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who have just joined me, welcome. And this is episode 5 of the career playthrough that I'm currently doing for Derail Valley Simulator. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch some of the previous episodes. I've got them in the description below as well, links to those. Probably a good idea to get caught up with those if you haven't already. We've been through quite a few trials and tribulations so far, and this will be the second episode now where we drive this lovely steam shunting locomotive, which I've managed to acquire. See episode 3 on how I managed to acquire it. And in the last episode, we took this locomotive up here from City Southwest with a whole bunch of plywood in tow, and somehow managed to make it here without exploding or, derailing or any of that other stuff that can happen along the way. Now, one thing I did do at the end of the last episode as well, and I realize I'm just standing here in the rain right now, is we did actually purchase the expert shovel. So I'm going to be using that expert shovel this time around. And I've picked up a job already at the end of the last episode, and that's the job we'll be doing in this episode, and that is basically delivering some pipes, okay? And we're going to be taking these pipes to Harbour and Town today. So just thought I'd lay out the normal shovel that you get when you purchase this shovel in the game, and that's at the top there, and just lay it out with the expert shovel there, which is now at the top. That's not confusing at all. So that little small shovel, that's the expert shovel that you can get as an optional shovel, I guess. And that makes shoveling in the game a lot more precise because you shovel smaller amounts of coal at each time. The only downside with this is using the expert shovel, you really have to put your back into it. And I guess that's more realistic as well, because with the big default shovel that you get, really, you just put in 3 shovel loads or so and you fill up the firebox. With the expert shovel, I'm told it's about double the amount of shoveling that you need to do. So I'm rather excited to be using this expert shovel this time around. So I'm going to put the normal shovel away in my backpack and just shuffle my expert shovel. Try saying that 3 times fast. Shuffle the expert shovel, shuffle the expert shovel, shuffle here. But see, it's hard. So as I was saying, the expert shovel is going to make things. Oh, look at the piddly amount of coal that we seem to be taking with each shovel load there. So I could imagine doing this in VR actually, and maybe I should try that out at some point. Just actually using this expert shovel in VR mode. That's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge, I think. But for the moment, we're going to be using normal non-VR mode to play this game, and I'm just firing up this locomotive now. And you might be wondering, why am I driving this train at night time? Or it's still overnight now anyway, and it's pouring down with rain. Well, I wanted to see if we can just get going, because I've already accepted that job in the machine, and the time bonus is ticking away. So I want to try and make that time bonus if I can help it today. And one thing that always gets me with this steam shunter, and I think it affects the other steam locomotive as well, is when those tanks look like they're absolutely empty, but they're actually full. Because when they're full, they look like they're empty, but as the water starts coming down, then you can see that blue tinge, I believe. So anyway, we won't worry about that too much now. The reason why I think it's full is because, well, there's water flowing right now, so that has to be coming from the tank. And also, I've just serviced this locomotive by paying the fees for it in the last episode, so it has to be full. And I just spied that the coal pile there was full as well, so it has to be full of water. It just has to be. I guess we'll find out soon if it's not. Now you can see there the coal is full, so yeah, I'd imagine the water's full. Water is being injected, so there must be something in that reserve tank. Okay, so let's get this thing moving. Yep, so I've just tested that there's water being pumped in, so I don't need to pump any more because the boiler's pretty much full. So we'll go ahead and just make a move out of here. I'm going to try not to use the bell too much because I do realize that it is night time and people are probably trying to sleep. So just get the wipers going here. So yes, we'll make our way out of this yard. Our pipes are basically just in front of us, in front of the locomotive. So the first thing I've got to do though is I've got to spin this locomotive around because it's facing the wrong way at the moment. And there's a nice handy set of like half moon tracks around here, so we can go through those and they will spin our locomotive around basically. You'll see once we start doing this, but for the moment let's just keep this fire going. So yes, with this expert shovel I'm hoping that we'll be able to save a bit more coal with this locomotive because this is only a shunting steam engine, it's not a mainline engine. And the one thing I've found with this engine as well is it does seem to sort of just chew through the water reserves. So I'm hoping we can make it to harbour and town today without running out of, water first thing, because that's the most important thing on a steam locomotive. If you run out of water, you're dead, and you're not in the water either anymore. You're basically dead. The whole thing could explode if you're not careful. So anyway, we'll see how we go. We will have quite a load of weight behind us, so that's one thing to just be mindful of as well. Almost 400 tonne today that will be shifting to harbour and town. So anyway, just got the world map there, put that down on the little desk in front of us, a little ledge. And what I'll do is I'll just put the brakes on here and we'll head off to the right hand side through this set of points here that will curve us off to the right. And then we'll come back around from this direction, well, what's in front of us just there, and then we should be facing the other way. It'll all make sense in just a moment anyway. I haven't got the air pump running at the moment because there's no need. When running light engine I just use the handbrake and that is sufficient enough. Rain is really coming down right now. I hope that the weather actually gets better once we start pulling that load out of here shortly, because you really don't want wet rails sometimes with these hills. You get all sorts of wheel slip and whatnot. Just make sure that point ahead of us is set correctly because it's a dead end otherwise, and we don't want that right now. Let's keep this fire going. Just keeping a very low fire at the moment. Don't need to go crazy on the fire load. Okay, so once we go a little bit further forward here, just past the set of points, it's handy here at Goods Factory in town. You don't have to worry about using the turntable. You've got this nice little curved section of track. Okay, so let's we'll keep on coming a little bit more forward here into this siding, or into this track, and here's the set of points right here which we need to just go past. Let's just jam on the handbrake here. Okay, so we need to head back in that direction. Sorry, it's actually this set of points right here, so not this one. Now if we back up, we'll go all the way around that horseshoe, and then we'll be facing in the correct direction to pull that load of pipes out of here. So just keep this fire going. I'm going to go ahead and just go around this curved section of track, and I shall check in with you shortly. Now just before I do that, actually, I just thought I would explain what happened in the last episode. For those of you who didn't catch that, we went from City Southwest with our plywood all the way up to Goods Factory in town, which is where we are at right now. In this episode, we're going to take a whole bunch of pipes, 400 ton load almost, and go from Goods Factory in town, backtrack all the way down past the steel mill, hang a right, and then come all the way through here to Harbour Town and finish up at the bottom right hand corner of the map. So there's going to be some interesting inclines along the way and curvatures. Right here is going to be a little bit of an incline, and there's going to be more inclines as well, probably around that section there. And there's going to be more as well once we pass the steel mill. So especially with this expert shovel, we're really going to have our work cut out for us to keep this fire going, I think. Anyway, let's keep going and get hooked up to our load of pipes. Okay, so just set that set of points there, and just coming up here, you can see there that we are facing now in the correct direction. We've got our headlights shining to the rear at the moment. Just trying to come into the yard here at a reasonable speed, nothing too crazy. Just set the locomotive up for the proper speed. Actually, I do need to change this set here as well. Let the loco just idle along there. That's correct, and that needs to change, I believe, as well. Yes, it does. Because otherwise we won't end up in the correct siding. So here comes our little loco. You can see here how I love to do yard shunting when I'm not even in the locomotive. I'm sure that's perfectly fine and legal and safe. We'll just let her roll on in. Our load of pipes now is pretty much directly behind us there. You can probably start to see them. We'll see them in just a moment. I just had to stop as well, actually, just off camera to turn on my lubricator, because it seems I forgot to actually turn on the lubricator for the poor old locomotive just now, but it was only for a short time, so hopefully it hasn't done any lasting damage. Let's just give this thing a bit more power. Okay, here come the pipes. So we don't want to go too fast. Let's just put a little bit more coal in and just supervise this last few yards here. Don't want to come in too hot. This is going to be a nice early morning run to Harbour and Town, and like I was saying before, come on, just kiss those buffers. There we go. Alright, just put a little bit of power on to keep the loco pressed up against the load there. We'll go ahead and just do our connection, set up the brakes. Okay, let's charge up the train. Take off the handbrake there. Normally it's just this first wagon on the rear. And that matches, the ID number matches at least one of these wagons, so I'm sure the rest are fine as well. I'm not going to check every single one. I can't see any other pipes in this yard anyway, so it must be this. Yes, so make sure our lubricator's on. And we got heaps of oil there from the looks in that left-hand reservoir through that little sight glass. I know the light's a little bit low, but I can still see that. Let's set our headlights back to the forward direction and get our reverser set forward as well. Handbrake is off. I'm not really using the bell much because it is night time here, so I'm trying not to disturb anyone. Okay, so I'm going to try and go economical on the coal load in today's run, because this is not exactly a light load. Okay, so we're going to need to make sure that we try and save our coal and our water, but there are going to be some inclines at some points along the way as well, so we're really going to have to put the back into it as well. But as we near Harbour and Town, our destination, it's going to be mostly downhill or level, so we'll have that going in our favour, thankfully. But yes, this is not a light load by any stretch. It's almost 400 ton behind us here, so this little shunting locomotive doesn't have a lot of reserve. Righto, well, time to go, time to get moving out of here finally. We are leaving goods factory in town on this very early morning. We've got our load of almost 400 ton of steel pipe behind us. So hopefully we don't run out of water or coal, because it's a heavy train, that's for sure. I'm going to stop pumping in water because I've got heaps right now. Goodbye, goods factory in town. The sun should be coming up as we do this run today as well, so things will start getting a little bit more lighted, lit up, and our visibility should improve along the way. So I've got the lantern on in the meantime in the cab here. Alright, well this is basically just on the outskirts of goods factory now and town. So we've got the tunnel up ahead of us here, and I know that there's going to be a little bit of a downhill coming up, so just getting off the throttle there, off the regulator, and just pumping a bit more water. This first bit here as we leave goods factory in town, we're really not going to need much power, so I'm keeping the fire low for the moment, just keeping the fire alive as it were. Not really using the fire to build up much steam, and our boiler pressure is pretty healthy anyway, so if we need power we've got it. We're above 9 bar, so I'll just put a little bit of power on. Got a 70k an hour limit, and we are basically just leaving goods factory in town now. So we do have a bit of a left-hander coming up. Make sure we take a left through those points. The good news is we came from that direction, so those points will be unchanged anyway. So just going through the tunnel now. Turn off the wipers. I think the rain's more or less stopped, thankfully. And soon the sun's going to be coming out. See the sky is starting to get a little bit more lit up now with the sun as the sun comes up. Yep, and we're really picking up speed here, so I'm just going to get off the power completely here and let the train just coast. Really don't want to add too much power as we come through here, because we pick up speed, no one's business otherwise. Already we are at 40k now, so I'm going to just set up a little bit of braking here. Just going to go to almost 2 bar there on the brakes, and I can see there that the window's getting all condensed up again, so let's get our wipers going. Just want to put a little bit of control back into our speed, because we're kind of running away here otherwise. Those set of points there, the first set of points, aren't coming up for a little while still, but we'll just have to kind of cycle this brake on and off for a bit. Picking up speed once again. Once you've got a heavy train behind you, it really pushes you down the hills, that's for sure. And conversely, once you go up hills, it really drags you back as well. So that's one thing to just really be mindful of with these steam engines. You really have to know the routes, the inclines and downhills and all that kind of stuff, because that will kind of dictate how much coal you should be putting in and how much fire to build up along the way. And especially with something like this little shunter, here's our set of points by the way, if you shovel coal the whole way when it's not needed, you'll burn through your coal and water reserves quite fast and you'll reduce your range. So operating this steam shunter efficiently is way more important, I'd say, than on the big steam engine, because the big steam engine's got to turn tender and it's got way more coal and water reserve, but that's not the case with this engine. So In my mind, I think this is probably more of an advanced steam locomotive to be running than the SH282 even. And I think it's more apparent at the higher loads as well. As you start hauling closer to the load limit of this steam engine, running efficiently becomes even more of a challenge and more required, because if you don't get things right and you underfeed the fire and there's a hill coming up, you'll stall. And conversely, if you're feeding the fire all the time, even on the downhills, when you don't need so much pressure and so much of a hot fire, you'll run out of fuel sooner as well. So definitely a challenge, this little locomotive, I think. Okay, just trying to keep our speed at a nice even level here. Okay, so I estimate that we are somewhere in this region. Having passed those points, we should be coming up to the river shortly on the map. You can see our boiler pressure there has come down to, well, it's at 9 bar at the moment, so try and keep it at 9 bar at least. Let's open the blower there. We've got a nice high-speed section here, so let's get the throttle on. Got a nice, what looks like grey smoke there. Fire temp is doing okay. You can see that, yeah, we should be basically coming up to this section right here at the moment on the map. If I, actually there it is, there's the river right there. So we're passing over that bridge, so that means we are right here at the moment. Yep. So after this, it's going to be a nice straight section. Now, I think there's also a nice incline as well, just after that straight section. And we've got a full load of water, so I'm not going to touch our water levels right now. See what we can do about our boiler pressure, because we're going to need a nice high pressure soon. Just add a little bit more reverser there, and let's get going on this coal, because I've got the feeling we're going to need it. A very nice section of track right here. Yeah, okay, our boiler pressure is still suffering. I'm not pumping any water either, so it's because I've got the throttle fully open here, the regulator. Yeah, how did that happen? The water just came down quite a bit there. This thing really eats up the water, that's for sure. Looks like we are on this straight section right now, and we will have a little bit of an incline coming up after this, just before steel mill, just as we pass that engine shed. So making some good speed now, so we'll see if we can't keep that momentum going. But yes, speed limits are actually, yeah, that's still quite high, 90. We'll just keep things rolling along for the moment. Injecting that water's really taken a bite out of our boiler pressure once again, and our boiler pressure is really suffering right now. It's less than 6 bar, which is well less than the recommended 9 bar even, and 9 bar is exactly not exactly that high anyway. So I'm just going to notch up the damper here and try and get our pressure up, because this is starting to get a little bit worrying, to be honest. We're getting ever closer to that set of inclines coming up, and our boiler pressure is still not looking good. So yeah, we're crossing the lake. once again, that's on the other side, so yeah, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I think we'll probably have to keep off the regulator for now. Let's stop pumping water, because that's just killing our boiler right now. Okay, so let's have a look on the map. Looks like we are still a fair way out from the steel mill. Looks like we're more or less here, so we are getting closer to the engine shed actually. And that section right there, that's where the inclines are, so this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Right here is another set of inclines as well, just as we pass the steel mill. And then after that, it's going to be mostly level and downhill once. But yeah, we do have some rather sharp inclines coming up, that's for sure. And there's a good chance we're going to stall the locomotive here. I think, yeah. I'm still used to the old shovel here. We really should have been shoveling this thing like mad, and we haven't. Or I haven't. Yep, I can hear the train slowing down like mad now. Yep, there we go, 2.1%. And we got no pressure, so almost 400 ton. I reckon we're not going to make it. We're going to stall here. We're still doing good speed, but I've got the throttle wide open. And I'm eating into the reverser here, but it's not doing much. We've only got 6 bar on the boiler, so yeah, I don't hold much hope here. I think we're gonna stall. I think we're gonna stall. Got too much weight behind us. Not gonna be able to make it over this hill. I think we're dead in the water here, folks. Yeah, that's the end of it. We got nothing. 6 bars, not going to do it. And that's my bad. Apologies for that. At least the wipers are still working. And wheels are trying to spin. We ain't going nowhere. Might as well just close the regulator here. And as luck would have it, as soon as I get off the regulator, look at the boiler pressure just shoot through the roof now. I don't know if we can actually get going on this hill. I really don't like the chances, but we'll try it. We've got a lot of pressure now. It's actually just managed to build up. Nope. Nothing. Okay. Well, there's only one thing for it. Even with the sand on that, wasn't doing anything. So, just going to have to let this thing roll back, I think. As embarrassing as that is. Yeah, this is a real heavyweight we got behind us today, so this really is the morning train to Struggletown. That's a lot of weight actually, now that I think about it, for this little shunter. It's probably too much weight, to be honest, so just rolling back down the hill here, we're going in the wrong direction. Picking up some crazy speed going in reverse here. I'm gonna have to make sure we don't go too crazy here in reverse. But the good news is pressure's really picked up now. Just gonna try and slow us down a bit here. I'm wondering actually whether this is enough now. Alright, enough with the water already. This has been very badly timed, unfortunately, but boiler pressure is looking really good now. It's around 12 bar, so okay, here we go. Take 2. Let's get this thing moving. Hopefully we can maintain this pressure. Let's just keep this firebox more or less full, because we cannot afford. And this thing's really working hard now. Really pushing this train, pushing this little engine. Sparks flying from the chimney. Okay, we're making another run for it. Here we go. Let's ease off the old reverser a bit. Oh, we're spinning those wheels. smoke's looking very healthy, I must say. Ooh. Spinning the wheels going back up this hill here. It's eager to climb, but will we climb the hill this time? Climbing the hill in anger now. Gotta keep it going. Yep, here comes here comes the real part of this hill. Oh, I can just hear the report from those cylinders. We've got to get majority of the train up and over this hill, because then it's level after that. It's just getting past this hill, that's the main challenge. I can see it, I can see it. I can see the summit. Ooh, looks like we've made it. Just. You can really hear the rapport from the cylinders there. That's a hard climb, that one. Just listen to it. Listen to that engine. And look at how much water it's going through as well. I really am not looking forward to how much water this thing is using right now. I'm not looking forward to like what the consumption is going to be by the end of this trip. I've got a feeling we might be cutting it fine actually with the water. Okay, so we're coming up to the steel mill now, and look at that, that boiler pressure's come right down as well. Turn off these wipers. That was a close one. And you know what, we've got another set of hills coming up in front of us. As soon as we pass the steel mill, yep, so that's where we are right now, steel mill. So once we pass through here, we'll have to make sure that we bear to the left, continue straight on, do not go off to the right towards the farm. And that section right there is where we've got another set of really nasty inclines before that left-hand point. So to be honest with you, I am going a little bit fast through here, through this yard. Really shouldn't be going this fast. But I'm just trying to keep our momentum going because we're going to need every bit of speed we can conjure up here for these inclines we got coming up very soon. Just make sure that these points are set correctly, because I've got a feeling that they are set for the farm, because that's the last time we came through here from the opposite direction, we were actually coming from the farm. So there it is there. Yep, okay, very good. Okay, back into it. Yep, we're good, we're good. Oh, our boiler pressure's really not looking great. Let's try and preserve this speed. Quick, quick, got a shovel, got a shovel. Let's use this expert shovel for what it's got. Oh, this expert shovel is killing my back right now. It's still anyone's game right now. The boiler pressure really isn't improving. I'm just trying to save as much steam as I can. This is not, we're not out of the woods yet. There's still a fairly nasty incline ahead of us. Come on, we've got to do this. I'm just trying to back off the regulator here just to give the boiler a little bit of a break. Check out that fire, it's roaring. We've got everything going right now into this boiler. Okay, yep, here it comes. Can we pull 400 ton of steel up this hill? That rhymes. I've got the feeling it's going to slow us right down. If we have to crawl up this hill, we will. That's probably what we'll have to do, actually. That boiler pressure is just not playing nice right now. I've got the maximum amount of draft going. I can't do anything more for this thing. Let's just keep going with the coal. Back onto the power. Oh, it's barking again. The cylinders are barking away. Oh, it's getting close, it's getting close. Yeah, she's working hard. She's working hard. This is all she's got. Come on, come on. Oh, check out all those sparks. I really don't think we're going to make it this time. 400 tons, probably proving to be too much. You know what? Say what you will about this, but I think we are holding. We are actually holding speed. How about that? Somehow, I think we're going to make it. And I'm injecting water at the same time, of course. Trying to build this fire up some more. We're gaining, we're gaining. We're doing it. Little shunter is pulling itself over the hill. Wow, okay, well, I wouldn't have expected that, especially seeing as we didn't quite have a full amount of boiler pressure just now either. That was less than 12 bar. I mean, I had all the stops pulled out to try and get this boiler pressure up, including having the blower open there, as well as obviously the damper, but I'm happy to say I think the worst is behind us now. From here on out, it's going to be mostly level and downhill, so I'm very thankful for that. Once we're over this hump, I'm going to just ease back on this thing so that's not working so hard, because we are blowing through the water right now. I'm really worried about how much water we've got left in the tanks, and if we run out, we're in big trouble. We really cannot afford to run out here. I've got grave concerns for how much water we've got left right now. Working hard as usual, but worst is over, so we'll just check on this set of points coming up ahead of us, make sure that they're set correctly, because we need to take a left-hand turn right about there. That's what we'll be coming up to shortly, and then we've got a nice straight-ish section right across, and then it's mostly all downhill actually to Harbour and Town. There's lots of level sections as well, but the hills that we've experienced so far, I think the worst is behind us, at least from that point of view. But we've got a new challenge now, and that is do not run out of water. So from now on, Really got to make sure that we preserve this water. Get the feeling sometimes that I've bit off a little bit more than I can chew here with this load. I think it's just too heavy for this. There's the farm, and there's Oil Well Central. And then beyond that is City Southwest, from whence we came in the previous episodes. Okay, flip those points over. We'll be heading over to the left-hand side. I look forward to when I can start dialing back on this thing, because we are still working it very hard. Still not gaining speed as much as I'd like. She's still working very hard. Okay, well, thankfully I can hear it picking up speed now. So we must be on a level, either that or a slight downhill. Thank goodness for that, because I don't think we can take any more hill climbs with the amount of water we've got left. Our water level's really suffering, I'm sure. Let's just try and inch back on this reverser here. We'll keep the fire going, but not too much. This might end up being a close one, folks. We're still really struggling here. I don't know what's holding us back. Just the sheer amount of weight on the back of this thing. We're picking up speed, but find ourselves crawling once again. This is a hard slog indeed. That's a little bit of a relief. It's picking up speed finally. Okay. Alright, I think we can stop using full throttle now for a change. Finally. That was... Let me just set these points up. Okay, so I think we are more or less coming up to a set of points that's going to take us over to this really nice straight section. So yeah, okay, alright, very good. This is what we want. Okay. I think finally we can relax for a change. Just barrel through these points. Let the weight behind us push us for a change. If we run out of water, we are done. Can't take any more hills. This thing cannot do it. And this expert shovel really puts you to work, that's for sure. Oil pressure's coming down, but really I don't care that much right now, because we don't need that much boiler pressure. I'm just leaving the damper a few clicks from the bottom, just a few clicks up, so I don't need the damper too high right now. Regulator's giving us enough draft, I reckon. Although, having said that as well, I do just want to get the boiler just slightly higher if we can. Just keep this fire fed. And we're asking for more water once again. I really would love to know how much water is left in those reserve tanks right now. I could go over there and have a look, I guess. Our fire's burning nice. We've got some nice grey smoke. Handbrake's definitely off. This is that nice straight section I was talking about. So we've got a bit of a left-hander coming up soon. Then we've got to make sure we go straight through the set of points and do not go off to the left. We are picking up some wild speed right now for a change. Okay, I think, well, that's it. That's our worst nightmare realized right now. No more water. We are out of water officially. So I think we're in big trouble right now. Welcome to the jungle, folks, because we may not be doing this now. We may not be completing this run successfully after all. I'm going to have to kill the fire soon once the water comes right down. Otherwise we risk explosion. Alright, well, I've got no more plans. I don't know what else to do right now. There is no more plan B. There is nothing else I can do. Literally, we are at the mercy of the momentum that we have. So, once I kill this fire, our boiler pressure is going to start coming down, and then we'll have no more power. The only saving grace here may well be that, well, it's down to the fact that there's no more inclines coming up anymore on the way to our destination of harbour and town, and there we can see that the water tanks are completely empty. That's what happens when you take a little shunting locomotive and try and do some mainline duties with it. I'm going to have to start killing this fire, unfortunately. Let's just try and get as much speed out of this thing as we can whilst we got the pressure, because our boiler pressure is coming down. It's under 6 bar right now. I'm trying not to keep the fire too hot because our water is dangerously low. I don't know if we can make this. I'm really reliant upon having these downhill sections working in our favour. It's all we can really do right now. I'm going to do a last ditch attempt here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the fire up a little bit more. Just try and get it a little bit warmer. Try and improve our steam, because we're going to need as much pressure as we can get before we have to kill the fire. Our water is dangerously low right now. We're looking at the dregs. There is definitely no more water left. There goes the last little bit of water we've got. It's almost disappearing off the glass. Last ditch attempt now to try and pick up some more momentum. Our boiler pressure really is not happy right now. I think it could be because we literally have almost no water left. I'm gonna have to shut this fire down. If I don't, this whole thing is going to go sky high. There it goes. Just watching the dregs of water go. That's it. I'm gonna have to kill the fire. Here we go. Here goes the fire. And gone. We are officially a fireless locomotive with no water right now, at the mercy of gravity. Okay, well, it would appear that we have just gone through these points, so we've got a little bit of a section coming up with some curves going left and right, and then basically it is more or less downhill to Harbour and Town. But that being said, there are some rather tight sections coming up, so we'll have to just be careful with the speed. We don't want to bleed off too much speed. We want to keep the momentum, but we don't want to go too fast either. We don't want to run off the tracks here. This is a 40k an hour limit coming round here, and I'm going to take it to as close to 40 as I can, even if we go slightly above. We've got to preserve this momentum. That said as well, we are at real risk here of running out of braking once we lose all of our steam. Don't want to use up too much of the brake reservoir there. We're basically generating no steam right now. Oh, the valley, what have you done? What have you done to this little steam shotter? Water pressure is coming down. I'd say that is the generator up front, and potentially the air pump is cutting in and out, using up our steam as well. I should probably turn off that generator, but to be honest with you, there's too much going on right now. This is a 50k an hour limit through here. Really pushing it speed-wise. Once again, I don't want to cut our momentum down. those rails again now. I've got no choice, got to keep it moving. This is a little bit faster than I'm comfortable going. It's not too bad. Gonna have to get onto the brakes quite heavily soon, because we do have another set of points coming up. They're gonna take us off to the left hand side, and we're going through that last tunnel. Oh, our steam pressure is really suffering here. I'm trying to like adjust the cutoff down to 0. Regulator's off. I'd say it's that generator up front. It's just leaching away our pressure. Okay, we've got our points coming up soon. Yep, okay. Quick. Onto the brake, onto the brake. I'm going to take it up to 3 bar. We've got to slow this thing right down. We're going off to the left here. We can't afford to be going too fast. Okay, off the brake now. Going through here. Just around 35k an hour in a 40 zone. Still managed to maintain a bit of momentum here. We'll have a quick look at where we need to be to harbour and town. So we need to be on, let's have a quick look here, C2I that is. So yeah, okay, that's the fluid loading yard. I think that's just after the roundhouse. There's a right hand set of points there. But I think the way it's set up, we'll have to go past those points first. So we'll have to take the train a little bit further into the yard at Harbour and Town, and then we'll have to back up. So I don't know if we're going to have enough steam pressure by the time we get down. There's Harbour and Town. You can see it. Destination's in sight. For once, those inclines coming out of Harbour and Town are actually working in our favour. How about that? We are really low on border pressure right now. And we are barreling around this curve now as well. We are almost there, I can smell it. Our arrival into Harbour and Town here at 100 miles an hour. Just kidding. We've got some good speed though. Good thing is, we should be able to make it all the way into the yard here. I just don't know if we're going to have enough pressure to back up. So, we are going around this curve quite fast. Just have to make sure these switches up ahead are set correctly. That switch there that takes us into the roundhouse, that's fine. That is set for straight ahead. Just keep on going. Keep this momentum moving. Too bad we don't have manual servicing. We could have just topped up at the servicing chute and water tower just there, but what I'm planning on doing is once we get into the yard there, I might just have to get out and service this locomotive by paying the fees. And then we'll hop back in and reverse into where we need to be. So we'll keep this set of points straight because we need to go straight for now. Otherwise, our locomotive will be facing the wrong way. We don't want that. We want to be able to take this thing out of here later. Points are set good. Keep on going. we'll go ahead and pull on the brake shortly. Okay, that's it. All the noise and craziness is mostly over for the moment. Let's head on over to the station office. I'm just going to pull up the overview here just quickly before we head in and pay the fees, just to show the overview of Harbour and Town. So you can see there where that little green dot is on the left of the diagram. That's basically where the engine shed is. And so we want to turn right immediately after that. But we can't quite do that because then our engine will be facing towards the front. So we want to reverse in. But anyway, first before we do that, let's go ahead and just pay our fees here, because we need to service this locomotive. And 10k, that's fine. We've only got a 2k copay anyway. So let's go ahead and pay that fee. So now we should have our locomotive serviced, full of water and coal once again. We'll go ahead and just jump in and get this thing moving. Before we do that, let's just inject some more water in and start putting in a bit of coal. Okay, well that disaster's been averted, thankfully. We managed to make it into Harbour and Town with basically no steam pressure, no fire. Thanks to the inclines that are leading out of Harbour and Town, we're able to utilise them to basically get our train into the yard using nothing more than God's own gravity. Just going to back up here a little bit more and I'll set the points behind us, and that should take us straight into Sea Yard where we need to be. Oops, wrong set of points. It's those points just up there. We'll just hop back inside here. Oh, that was definitely a close one. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna do a run like this with this much weight again in the future, to be honest with you all, because that was cutting it real fine. If we were going anywhere else, we would have been in some big trouble. So we were lucky this time, because we're going to Harbour and Town, that we actually managed to make it. With this amount of weight, I think it's just a little bit too much for this shunter. This amount of weight and distance. Right, so we should be going straight ahead into the siding that we need to be. Just slow this thing down actually, because I'm a little bit worried we're going to hit the other end. C2I, that's where we need to be. Okay, you know what? I think that's good enough for me. Let's go ahead and jam on the brakes here. Jam them on full. Stop this thing. Wow, okay. Can't believe it. We actually made it. If you've made it this far, I think you'd agree that that was one hell of a journey. And we really cut it fine running out of water like that, I think. So yes, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you thought about this run. We are more or less pushing the 400-ton mark here with this little locomotive, so I think that's just on a little bit on the high side considering the distance that we had to go. So let me know what you think anyway. But I think in the future, if I'm going to do a run like this, I'm going to probably just have to take potentially the DM3 or something like that. We'll have to purchase the license for that still. But I imagine after this run we'll have a fair amount of cash in the old wallet. So I'm just going to pull forward here and just going to park up a little bit ahead of where we are now. And just turn off the lubricated air and shut this thing down. Once again, I've proven that this locomotive will run out of water before it runs out of coal, and that expert shovel really doesn't help that much from a water perspective. What can I say? We've just been pumping a lot of water on this trip, and those inclines really killed us in the beginning of the journey as well. So I had to get over those hills and had to use that water. Unfortunately, that meant that we didn't have much water left for the remainder of the trip, so it's a bit of a learning experience there. I think, once again, this steam shunter really chews through the water, so I'm not sure if maybe they'll make some updates to the game to address that. Not sure whether that's realistic or not, but anyway, let's head on into the station office and complete our job already. So I don't think we're going to get the time bonus, but let's see. No, we didn't quite get the time bonus there, but thankfully we did complete the job without issue, and we didn't explode even though we had no water there. So yeah, we've got a healthy $35,000 now. 30 grand to buy the DM3 license. That's probably where I'll be spending a large chunk of change next. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what I should be doing going from here. So I don't know why I'm sitting down here. I think I just need a little break right now because that was quite a run, that one. You can see there that we've already racked up $840 odd in fees since just paying the fees when we arrived here, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and just clear these out. Looks like you only pay $846 if it's below the 2K copay, so that's good. You only pay the fee itself. So yes, here we are, Harbour and Town, and here are a whole boatload of jobs for us to do next. Now, I'm not going to do what I did in the last episode and just get started on a job. I think I'll probably let you have a bit of a look and let me know what you think I should be doing next. There's a huge load of jobs here that I can do. I prefer to do the freight haul jobs though, not so much the shunting. There's some nice easy jobs, taking some empty containers up to goods factory in town. That might be a nice one. And it's only 102 tons, so I'll leave that one over there. There's another one here going to machine factory in town, delivering diesel. Actually, I can't do this one, I just realized, because that is a hazmat job, so forget about that. What else we got? What else? We are taking... No, that's fine. I want to... okay. More empty containers up to food factory in town. Only 51 ton. That should be a rather easy job, that one. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit worried about the range on this steam locomotive, I must say, and because we don't have manual servicing just yet, I'm a little bit worried about how far we can go unless we can pay fees along the way and service this locomotive. That might be something to do. But that's only 51 tons, so we shouldn't be using too much coal and water there. I'm definitely not going to do that one. 445 ton, leave that one there. Machine factory in town, deliver acetylene. Yeah, that's a hazmat job, can't do that, leave that over there. More acetylene, can't do that one, that's a hazmat job. What else we got? There's a range of jobs here anyway. I don't know, I'm not too sure. I'm also thinking I'm just going to get the DM3 license this time around. And we'll probably pull out of here with the DM3, knowing our luck. We've got about 35k in the old wallet here, so we can afford to buy the DM3 license. It's just a matter of whether there's a DM3 in that roundhouse, and I'm not too sure, to be honest. There might be. I'll have to go looking and see if there is. But I guess if there is, maybe we can get the DM3 and get out of here next time, because yeah, to be honest, that steam engine, gotten a good run out of it. That expert shovel is quite nifty to use. We did do our run down from goods factory in town, and we did struggle today a little bit on these inclines, and I've got the feeling the DM3 will probably handle it a little bit more gracefully as long as there's diesel in the tanks, which I think the range on the DM3 is going to be a lot better anyway. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and otherwise I'll probably end up getting the DM3 license in the next episode. See if we can't drive the DM3 out of here, or if we can't do that, then maybe I'll just do a nice easy haul of empties somewhere not too far away with the steam engine, and then try and get that DM3 in our career mode moving forward. So that's going to be exciting, I think. But yes, I'll catch you all in the next one.